Welcome back to another video. Now, this video is going to be 10 worrying things, 10 worrying signs at Tottenham at the moment. Obviously, the defeat yesterday has hit everybody hard. The manager, the players, and certainly the fans. The fans probably more than anybody. Twitter, Facebook, and any other social media, if you're on any of them, you will know exactly what I mean when I say that everyone has just gone into meltdown. Everyone is very worried at the moment about the situation at Tottenham, and I think rightly so. There are far too many things going wrong at the moment, and I'm just going to talk through every one of them. So the first thing I want to talk about is the manager himself, Mauricio Pochettino. Does he seem happy at the moment? If I'm honest, he doesn't seem happy at all. We've only just started the Premier League season for the 2019-20 season. Yes, we have won against Aston Villa on the opening day of the season, 3-1. It wasn't a great start, it wasn't a great half, but the second half we turned it around through the help of Christian Eriksen, who Pochettino had on the bench. Manchester City, a fantastic result. Not a great performance, but a fantastic result, showing the strength and character to actually come back at the Etihad Stadium twice to actually get that draw. And then yesterday, everybody had such high hopes for a win. You know, I was talking to fans and they were saying 5-0, 6-0 to Tottenham. You know, everyone had such high hopes. But is Pochettino happy at Tottenham at the moment? In his press interviews, when I see him in press conferences, the videos of the press conferences, he just seems really short with everybody. He seems sarcastic to a lot of journalists, and you know, these are journalists that have been in Tottenham press conferences for the last 5 or 6 years. That, you know, he's 6 seasons in charge. He seems very, very defensive. Even when someone said to him the other day, "Are you going to experiment for the Newcastle game?" You know, he went into one saying, "I'm not a scientist. I'm a football manager." Blah blah blah. He would never ever have done any of that before. You know, something is certainly wrong at the moment, and he seems to just be very, very grumpy a lot of the time. And one of the things that I love about Pochettino and have done since he arrived at Tottenham is his personality, in the way that he's always in such a good mood. He always jokes around, but I'm not seeing a lot of that at the moment. And he says a lot, it's all about performance. Well, the performance certainly weren't up to scratch yesterday. Now, number two, I'm going to talk about Pochettino's decisions. I just don't understand it. I'm a big Christian Eriksen fan. If you watch this channel on a regular basis, you will know that I defend Christian Eriksen, and you know that he's one of my favourite players. And to leave your best players out of your starting 11, regardless of who we're playing, whether we're playing a team who has lost both Premier League games, as Newcastle did, Aston Villa, of course, newly promoted, and he left Christian Eriksen out of both of these matches, and the whole Jan Vertonghen episode as well. You know, when you're leaving players like Christian Eriksen and Jan Vertonghen out of matches, then you've only got yourself to blame. You really have, and I hate to say that. You know, people have been trying to talk to me about football today, and I've had none of it. I've been like a little kid sulking the fact that we have lost, and you know, my dad used to take me to football as a kid, and whenever Tottenham would lose, I wouldn't talk on the way home, and that's exactly how I've been in the past 24 hours, because I just don't understand the decisions. I know that the fact that he doesn't know whether players are signing new contracts, whether leaving or whatever. But surely you have to put that to one side and say, we are choosing the best 11 players because we want to win this match. If one player leaves next week, then so be it. It happens. It happens in football. But surely you have to choose your best 11 in the starting lineup. Now, number three, I'm going to talk about contracts. Now, we have 3 players, Jan Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld and Christian Eriksen, all in the last year of their contract. Now, in June, they they can just walk. They can just walk for nothing. If Tottenham don't sell him in this window before the 2nd of September when the European window ends, or if they don't sign a new contract, they will, all three of them can leave at the end of the season for nothing. I just cannot understand, as a Tottenham fan, certainly with Spurs being in the Champions League final on the 1st of June as well, why have these contracts not been sorted? Why are these three players out of contract at the end of this season? I just don't get it. I really just don't get it. Why have these deals not been sorted? Why have they not just been done and dusted? It is just incredible to think that these three players would probably arguably be, you let me know in the comments section below whether you agree with me or not. These three players would be three players who would be in your starting lineup. Champions League games, Premier League games, whatever match. To win a match, you want Toby and Jan and you want Christian Eriksen in there. Let me know if you agree with that. Number 4, I think it is very, very worrying, the amount of defeats that Tottenham have had. Let me just read you this stat. 14 defeats in the last 32 matches and only 3 wins in the last 12 games. I think it's very, very, very worrying that we just don't seem to be winning the amount of matches that we should be winning. At the end of the 18-19 season, of course, we all got hyped up about the Champions League, the fact that we beat Ajax in the semi-final, which was an absolutely fantastic moment, one of the best moments of my life supporting Tottenham. No one would ever take that away. But in league competition, we lost a lot of games, and I think that a lot of fans kind of forgave that because of the whole Champions League route to the final, and probably rightly so. But it's very, very worrying. These stats are very worrying, the fact that we have lost 14 games in the last 32. So number 5 is body language. The body language of every Tottenham player yesterday, it was like we didn't want to win. There was no desire there. And I can't even believe I'm saying that. I'm a huge Tottenham fan, and all the time when I ever talk about Tottenham, I'm hugely positive. And even if there's 99 negatives and there's one positive, I'd always concentrate on just talking about that one positive. But yesterday, I don't think I've been this upset about a Tottenham defeat in a very, very long time. And it's not just the way that we lost, it was just the way that there was no desire at all. As Tottenham fans, we want to see passion. We want to see passion from the team. Now, I watched Match of the Day last night, and Alan Shearer actually summed the game up perfectly, talking about Tottenham, because he was saying everyone connected to Tottenham at the moment is just talking about the lack of creativity, and that was totally right. There wasn't a lot of creativeness at all in the game, but he said something more important that perhaps a lot of people didn't notice is the fact that a lot of the players were just walking, and there was no sprinting, there was no sharpness about any of us. And if you watch the goal back again, the build up to that goal, Newcastle's goal, every Tottenham player, very, very slow. No one was sprinting, no one even running. It was just a gentle jog or a walk. And I actually noticed this in the lead up to the goal. I was like, come on, move. And I just could. It was unbelievable to watch. Tottenham in a Premier League game, and when you've got players who are hyping us up saying that we are title contenders, that certainly didn't look like a title contender performance to me. The next up, number 6, I'm going to talk about poor defending. Now, Davinson Sanchez had a shocker yesterday, and so did Danny Rose. Danny Rose, I'm a huge, huge fan of Danny Rose. But what on earth has happened to Danny Rose these last few games for us? Because Danny Rose has actually given the ball away more than any other Tottenham player so far in these 3 games, and it's just not good enough. The communication between Danny Rose and Davinson Sanchez yesterday was absolutely awful. Awful. Absolutely awful. Now, number 7, I want to talk about our stadium, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Of course, as a lot of you know, if you watch the videos, I was really, really excited about this stadium and the noise and the atmosphere and so on. But yesterday, the atmosphere was dead. A lot of the time, it was absolutely dead. You could hear the Newcastle fans a lot. And it upset me, actually, because the Newcastle fans actually sang just like the Emirates. And I just thought, what? You're having a laugh. I know there's banter in football, but just like the Emirates. Are you serious? And then they said, shall we sing a song for you? And then they've done the whole shush thing. And a lot of the time, it was just so quiet. And I saw on Twitter a comment by Lee McQueen, who I know quite well and do Last Word on Spurs with him. And he stood up and he was singing a song, and he said a lot of the people around him were quite embarrassed about him singing, and he was trying to gee everybody up to get the whole crowd singing, and a lot of people just didn't want to know that, fair enough if you want to go to the football and you want to just sit there and be quiet, or fair enough if you want to, sing. But the whole thing about our stadium is meant to be about the atmosphere and the amazing place that all of us supporters go. But it was dead yesterday. It was dead. It wasn't only the team that was quiet yesterday. It was the fans as well. But it slightly does worry me that it was another defeat at our stadium. We wanted this to be a fortress, and now it's another defeat. We have now played 9 competitive games at the stadium. We've won 5, we've drawn 1, and we've lost 3. Now, number 8, which I think is quite worrying as well, is the hope and the build-up of our players, saying that we're now title contenders. We're going to win the title. 3 games in, we're now 5 points behind Liverpool. I know perhaps that is a little bit negative of me to say that, but Harry Kane said on the opening day of this season, it's very, very important to not let Manchester City or Liverpool go too far ahead. And he was talking about that on the opening day of the season. Even Harry Winks said, I can't remember whether it was before or after the Manchester City game, saying that Manchester City and Liverpool need to be very aware of Tottenham. Lucas Moura this week even said that we have enough to be title contenders. Am I just being really on a downer, or do you think that we can be title contenders after a performance like yesterday? Now, one thing that really does worry me as a Tottenham fan is I'm a huge fan of Mauricio Pochettino, and I know I spoke earlier on in the video about decision making and a huge decision that he made in the Champions League final. Harry Kane hadn't played for a long time, and then suddenly he came back in for the final. And Lucas Moura was on the bench, and if it wasn't for Lucas Moura, we probably wouldn't have been in the final. We wouldn't, would we? But he's come out with this comment yesterday after the match against Newcastle, saying he has got the most unsettled squad whilst he has been manager at Tottenham. I just cannot believe some of these comments that he makes. I really can't. Now, Danny Rose supposedly wanted to leave the club in the summer. Supposedly he was at Watford training ground. They couldn't agree a deal before the transfer window closed in England. Then you've got Christian Eriksen, you've got Toby, and you've got Jan. Now, we're going into a North London derby on Sunday, and we don't know whether any of these players are going to stay or are they going to leave, because the European window ends on the 2nd of September. The game is on the 1st of September. So what is Pochettino going to do now? Is he going to choose the players thinking, well, if they're staying, they might leave the next day? Or it's a mess. It is a real mess. For him to say most unsettled squad whilst he has been at Tottenham, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Why are these things? Why have all these things not been sorted out quicker? Why are we now going into one of the biggest games of our season, regardless whether it's the first game, the 4th game, or the 36th or the 38th match? When you're playing Arsenal, this is huge. This is a game that you want to be really, really well prepared for. This is a game that all the fans look forward to and want to win. And based on yesterday's performance, I think it's worrying. I really do. And when Poch comes out with comments like that, most unsettled squad whilst at Tottenham, this needs sorting very, very quickly. Now, number 10, what really does worry me is that we are playing Arsenal away next. We're playing them on Sunday. We don't have a great record at the Emirates Stadium. This is a huge game. This is a game where every single player needs to give 110% and be totally up for it. And I just hope that Pochettino, regardless of any issues, problems, contracts, whatever, he puts the best 11 players out for Tottenham on Sunday and we get a result there, because all of this negativity over the last 24 hours, and I'm sure that it will continue through the week with a lot of fans, it would be put to bed. It really would. If Tottenham got a result at the Emirates, and I mean 3 points, I don't just mean a draw. If we get the 3 points at the Emirates on Sunday, a lot will be forgiven and or forgotten. But it's a huge, huge, huge game. It really is. It means a lot to the fans, and it should mean a lot to the players and the manager as well. And I just hope that we don't have any players leaving this week, and Pochettino is very clear of which players he's got. And well, as I say, I hope that no players leave. Anyway, let me know in the comments section below what are your thoughts. This is probably my first ever negative video that I've ever done on Tottenham, and hopefully I won't ever have to do another one. But I just feel quite down at the moment about the whole Tottenham situation, and I think that Pochettino's comments should be a lot more encouraging than what they should be, because when he says things negative, if he says negative comments, it rubs off on the fans and it makes us all worry.